Like Tom Herman actually had this to say about practice. This is in The Athletic, Matt Olson writing on it. At the end of the Longhorn practices during the preseason camp after the starters and top backups called it a day and walked off, the reserves got their time to shine. We've actually stayed after practice to get those number 3s and number 4s some scrimmage work, some 7-on-7 work, 1-on-1 pass rush, inside drill, you name it, Tom Herman said. Those guys whose names don't show up on the depth chart at Texas, they're getting more reps and more attention than ever before. Last season, Herman's team dealt with enough injuries that 36 different players earned starts. This year, there's no telling what that number could be. Everybody's going to play because everybody's got to play. Dave Aranda's taking a different tack with this, especially being a first-year head coach with first-year coordinators at Baylor. They're just going to try to install one very simple scheme that everybody can run and hope they have enough talent to run the same plays over and over again and not get beat down. As I said, I don't see any football coaches having any fun in 2020. Let's check the chat. My man, Doco Winston Boogie off in here. I appreciate that, Doc. I seen you. Let's see what we got. Joe Rosley. Love the show. This has been my main source of college football updates, especially for my Buckeyes. Appreciate that, Josh. Let me see. Eric Fry. I know this is a sports stream, but do you have any theories, hopes, predictions for Cobra Kai Season 3? No. That's all I can do just to watch it, man. UCF will win the college football playoff this year. They got to get admitted first. Not so certain that the college football playoff selection committee wants to put in a group of 5 team. It's just not. Might put in a 5-5 Arkansas before they put in an undefeated Central Florida. I'm not kidding. The bias is real. Let's see, anything else that I wanted to discuss on this here stream? Oh yeah, I had a couple stories that I wanted to relate to y'all about recruiting and recruits, and then one more segment and we'll get out of here. But let me do a read. Getting married this year? Organizing a corporate function that needs all the trimmings? Who is Mike Jones Event Planning? Who? Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones. Who is Mike Jones Event Planning? Is your premier event coordinating firm and concierge. Mike Jones Event Planning coordinates and caters events of all sizes, specializing in graduation parties, theme weddings, and bar mitzvahs, quinceañeras, and Kwanzaa. Who is Mike Jones Event Planning? Wants to make sure that your event goes off without a hitch, and that means chopped and screwed, planning ahead. So put them H-Town hussies on Front Street. Remember, back then they didn't want you. Now you hot. They all on you. To make all your dreams come true, call Who is Mike Jones Event Planning at 281-330-8004. All right, so you know that I love recruiting. You know that I cover recruiting. You know that I cover college football. You know that I talk about sports. But recruiting and the stories behind recruiting are always my favorite because it is sort of regulated, but not really. And it's wild because it's all promises and pledges. Nothing is written down until signing day. So, Bruce Feldman had this great column about a couple of NFL top 100 players. So he's telling a story because a Pitt coach went to go see about Dan Mason back in the day. Okay? Went to go see about him at Penn Hills in Pennsylvania. And while he's watching Dan Mason, he sees the defensive tackles just destroying people, just wrecking people. And he's short, and he's pudgy, but he's destroying people in such a way that this Pitt assistant coach named Greg Gattuso shouts at the kid, "You got an offer from Pitt," which is a thing that he was not allowed to do because only head coaches can make an offer. Still, he wanted to recruit the kid, and he told folks at Pitt, "I want the kid." But there was questions about his size because everybody wants a 6'3", 300-pound defensive tackle. This kid was 6 feet tall, about 270. So they asked about his strength because you're going to have to be strong and move these men off the line of scrimmage. You're going to play defensive tackle. And he's walked through the weight room because he heard that this kid was in the weight room getting it up, getting work in. and he sees 315 on the bar, on bench, and he sees his legs are up and crossed, and he's just pumping them out, talking about, what's up, coach? How you doing? Kid goes to Pitt, comes All-American, has 66 tackles, 29.5 sacks, and is an All-Pro in the NFL. His name's Aaron Donald. He was a 3-star recruit. His only Power 5 offer other than Pitt, Rutgers. Tell you another story about a 3-star recruit. So a wide receiver coach at this Power 5 school called Louisville is sent to South Florida to recruit. He's from there. He played at Miami. Played with Gino Torretta. Played with Dan Marino. He was a great wide receiver. Now his name is Lamar Smith. Lamar got a call from his former head coach in high school, Robert Swain, said, I got a kid down here who might be the best athlete I've ever seen in my life. Best athlete I've ever coached. Said, oh yeah, I'll take a look at him. Sees the kid's playing quarterback, can absolutely spin it. Is destroying people. So he brings the dude back, his film back, to Bobby Petrino, who's the head coach, and Garrett McGee, shout out OU, who's coordinator. And he says, I think you guys ought to take a look at this dude for quarterback. And Bobby Petrino and Garrett McGee don't want to hear nothing about no quarterbacks from no Lamar Smith. You sit down in South Florida, bring us back some offensive linemen and some skill players. Not no quarterback. We do the quarterback recruiting. Lamar Smith's like, yo, man, I played with Dan Marino. I played with a Heisman winner. You trying to tell me I don't know quarterbacks? Well, Lamar Smith basically got to stand on his desk to get Bobby Petrino to watch Lamar Jackson's huddle film. And in that huddle film, Bobby Petrino says, okay, he can spin it. They offer him. And, of course, Lamar commits. But at the time, it was soft. Florida State wanted him. They didn't know if they wanted him quarterback or wide out. Miami wanted him, but they wanted him to back up Brad Kaya. Remember how trash he was. And Lamar Smith looks at Lamar Jackson and says, yo, man, just come to Louisville, play quarterback. But while he's saying that, Bobby Petrino is trying to talk Lamar Smith into talking Lamar Jackson into decommitting because he wasn't sure. Lamar Jackson goes to Louisville, destroys people, destroys everybody, becomes only the second player ever to win unanimous MVP by vote, and is perhaps the best or second best player in the National Football League. Even Bobby Petrino had to be convinced. Lamar Jackson, 3-star recruit. You know who else is a 3-star recruit? Michael Thomas. You know who else was a 3-star recruit? Russell Wilson. You know who else was a 3-star recruit? Pat Mahomes. Kiddos, fight for it. Nobody knows nothing. Fight for it. Keep fighting. If you got to take it out on a recruiting analyst later, great. We love being wrong. Fight for it because you're worth fighting for. If Aaron Donald didn't get looks, nobody's guaranteed looks. If Pat Mahomes got passed over for every Power 5 school except Texas Tech, nobody knows nothing. Hell, coordinator at North Carolina didn't want Russell Wilson. That's why he ended up at NC State. Football is about numbers and its chance, but control what is within your control. Go to work. Don't worry about what you're not getting. Be ready to go when it's time to go. Okay. I want to do a very cool segment now, but I want to get to this chat that I skipped first because I just remembered. My bad. There was a chat in here and it has disappeared, so I got to find it. Man, that's my bad. All right. I will address the super chat in an upload. That's my bad. Okay. Actually, I did want to talk about Spencer Rattler and Mike Giovando. Yeah, that's another one. All right. So before I do that special segment, let me tell this story. Mike Giovando is a quarterback's coach in the Arizona area. His father coached at an Arizona community college with a former OU linebackers coach named Tim Kish. Mike Giovando called Tim Kish one day because he said, I got a 14-year-old I want you to take a look at. And Tim Kish is like, at what? At quarterback? No, he's too young. He's like, Yeah, I know, but I'm telling you, take a look at this kid. So Kish takes a look at the kid. And he says, okay, he can throw. All right, he can spin it. Brings it back to this new offensive coordinator at Oklahoma. His name's Lincoln Riley. Says, I think you should take a look at this film. And Lincoln did what Kish did. Was like, a 14-year-old? You want me to look at a 14-year-old? He's too young. Like, just look at him. Lincoln watched the film and then made a phone call to the kid, said, you got an offer from the University of Oklahoma. His name's Spencer Rattler. Sometimes it just is who you know and what they can do for you. Giovando has been Rattler's quarterback coach for the last 5 years. Rattler's the starting quarterback at Oklahoma, and we think has a great opportunity to win a Heisman Trophy because he's just got that much talent. It's about, can he hold it all together? Kish also was the dude that brought Mark Andrews to Oklahoma's coaches. And at the time, Andrews was a state record-setting wide receiver. Lincoln Riley looked at him and said, you're going to play tight end in this offense. And Mark Andrews said, cool. And he won a Mackey Award, and now he is starting tight end on the same offense with Marquise Brown and, of course, Lamar Jackson. Who you know. All right.